Welcome back, wonderful people, to this wonderful channel. How is your day going? I hope you're having a wonderful day. Have you had your lunch, dinner, breakfast, depending on your time and where you are listening to us from? Thank you for your support, your love, and your concern over this channel. Just hit the subscription button for me as I will bring you the news proper as it is hot. Post-election threat, Datti risks treason charges, federal government warns. Federal government has just warned the Obi and Datti of treason charges because of some of the statements they have been making so far. The thing is that it is only in Africa that is where they say that we are in democracy, and when you try to demonstrate your democratic rights, it will be seen as treason. So what Obi and the Datti has been doing recently has been considered as treason by the Nigerian government, and they have been warned to desist from their act, or else they will face treason charges. Let me bring you the news in details. The federal government on Tuesday said the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi and his running mate Datti Baba Ahmed risked being prosecuted for treason over some of their utterances on the February 25th presidential election. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, who gave the warning in Washington, United States on Tuesday, said Obi and Baba Ahmed's statement amounted to insurrection. He added that Obi and his running mate were inciting people to violence over the outcome of the poll. But the Labour Party candidate and the People's Democratic Party refuted the allegation, describing them as reckless. The PDP and the Labour Party warned the federal government against toying with the idea of arresting the ex-governor of Anambra State, since the All Progressive Congress candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed was declared as the presidential elect, having pooled 8,794,726 votes to defeat the People's Democratic Party candidate Atiku Abubakar and Obi, who got 6,984,520 votes and 6,101 votes, 6,101,553 votes, respectively. The Labour LP candidate and his running mate have been faulting the electoral process, despite filing petitions challenging the election result as the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. Obi and Baba Ahmed have insisted on the cancellation of the poll, which they claim was characterized by rigging and violence. In a recent interview on national television, Baba Ahmed asked the Chief Justice of Nigeria not to swear in the president-elect on May 29, while some of their supporters had called for the interim national government. But addressing some media organizations and think tanks on the election at the US Capitol, the minister said it was wrong for Obi to seek redress in court over the outcome of the polls and, in another breath, incite people to violence. According to the news agency of Nigeria, Mohammed stated Obi and his running mate Datti Baba Ahmed cannot be threatening Nigeria, that if the president-elect Bola Tinubu of the All Progressive Congress is sworn in on May 29, it will be the end of democracy in Nigeria. This is treason. You cannot be inviting insurrection, and this is what they are doing. Obi's statement is that of a desperate person. He is not the Democrat that he claimed to be. A Democrat should not believe in democracy only when he wins the election. The minister said in challenging the election result, there was no pathway to victory for either Obi or Atiku. According to the minister, both Obi and Atiku failed to meet the constitutional requirement to be declared as president. The constitution has stringent criteria for anybody who wants to be president of the country. Not only must he have the plurality of votes cast in an election, but he must also have scored 1/4 of the vote cast in at least 25 states. Only the president-elect met the criteria by scoring 8.79 million votes, having 1/4 of all the votes cast in 29 states of the Federation, he further stated. The minister said Atiku, who came second with 6.9 million votes, was only able to make one quarter of the vote cast in the 21 states, adding that Obi came third with 6.1 million votes, but won only one quarter of vote cast in 15 states. You cannot win an election in a pool where you came to a distant third position and failed to meet constitutional requirements. Peter Obi, while complaining of fraud, has not disowned his victory in Lagos, he said. Elaborating on his mission to the US, the minister said he was there to correct the negative narrative being promoted by naysayers and opposition about the election. He said the opposition, having lost in the election, was alleging fraud, calling for its cancellation and constitution of interim government. We have come here to balance that swag narrative and to tell the world unambiguously that the just concluded general election in Nigeria are the fairest, most transparent, and authenticity in the history of Nigeria. The election is the fairest and most credible because the introduction of bimodal voters verification system, which I regard as a game changer, BVAS technology, had helped without ghost and illegal voters, eliminate multiple voting and return sanity to the election, he told his audience. The minister defended the BVAS, which he said functioned 97%, giving unparalleled credibility to the election. But the response to the minister reprimanded Obi warned the federal government to desist from making false allegations against him, stating that he had never sponsored or encouraged anybody to stoke the ember of insurrection in the country. Obi, who tweeted via his official Twitter handle, said, "In the past few days, I have observed various campaigns of calumny directed at my person, with the latest being allegation attributed to the Information Minister Lai Mohammed from Washington, D.C. It is most unfortunate that this consistent effort to portray me quite contrary to what I am and my core values is coming from such high quarters. Minister Lai accusing me of stalking insurrection is totally malicious and fictitious. I have never discussed or encouraged anyone to undermine the Nigerian state. I have never sponsored or preached any action against Nigerian state. Those initiating these actions have increasingly used their official positions and agents to make false allegations against me. I am on record as always advocating for peace and issues-based campaign and never campaign based on ethnicity or religion. I am committed to due process and presently seeking redress in court. I urge those engaged in the marketing process to stop presenting Nigeria in such a bad light. Our future generation deserve a new Nigeria where they can live a secure and decent life like their counterparts in other climes. It is possible. Also, in a statement in Oka, the Anambra State capital, Obi described Mohammed's trip to the US as reckless. Such reckless behavior, sponsored with taxpayers' money, was among the reasons those countries often do not take Nigeria seriously, he said. While urging Nigerians to always remain law-abiding, Obi stated, "I'm on record as always advocating peace and issue-based campaign, not a campaign based on ethnicity or religion." In his own reaction, the national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, said he was disappointed with the minister's utterance, while pointing out that the LP candidate's campaign was issue-based. Abure described him as a peaceful and law-abiding person. According to him, the federal government's admonition, which have been directed at the ruling party and their spokesperson, was done in bad state. He said, "Let me state categorically that there is no basis for that admonition. Our presidential candidate is a powerful and law-abiding person, despite the fact that the election was provocatively rigged. He decided to be peaceful and toe the path of justice." Also, the PDP Deputy National Publicity Secretary Ibrahim Abdullahi warned the government not to flirt with the temptation of arresting the former Anambra State governor. According to Abdul, arresting Obi will be detrimental to national peace and development. That line of thought, possible arrest, is senseless as it is ill-advised. But speaking with our correspondent, the APC Director of Media, Bala Ibrahim, remarked that the LP standard barrier could not be bigger than the law of the land, saying they should be cautioned by the security agencies over his incendiary statements. Ibrahim warned that if the United States, which is seen as the beacon of democracy, could prosecute former President Donald Trump, why do people fear that Nigeria will burn Obi if is apprehended by security agencies? He said, I don't subscribe to this idea of not touching certain persons simply because of the situation of circumstances on the ground. Nobody is above the law. If you are wrong, you must be called to order regardless of your position in society. If it means getting the security agencies to invite him, it should be done. We shouldn't allow things to get out of hand simply because we don't want to be seen as intimidating the opposition. No, that should not be the case. As we talk, former American President Donald Trump is in court. Ibrahim, however, wondered why Obi and his horde of supporters were finding it hard to accept defeat when it was obvious Tinubu won the contest. Speaking further, the APC publicity director noted, people have been contesting and losing an election in this country. They didn't call for fire and brimstone. Why should Obi's case be different? On its part, the New Nigerian People's Party noted that Obi had the right to freedom of expression even as it challenged the federal government to charge him to court if they had sufficient evidence to support their allegation. Speaking with our correspondent, NNPP National Public Secretary Major Agbo said in a democracy, people shouldn't be scared of expressing themselves at any time. When I don't see as it happen for the matter, we be say concern our Obodo Naija. It be like say the politics of Nigeria has turned to something else, and democracy in Nigeria has become a place where nobody has a say. It means that whatever the government says or whatever the ruling party says, that the people should accept it, hook, line, and sinker. And that is not supposed to be because we are in a democratic nation and people are supposed to exercise their right to free speech, their fundamental right, as long as it is within the constitutional jurisdiction. I think that is what Obi and Datti are doing. And if anybody is saying that they are committing insurrection, I don't think that they have done something like that or that it has gotten to that because what they are just advocating is for democracy. So remember that you are still on the Emissary News. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and also remember to on the notification button so that whenever our news drop, now you go be the first one to collect. And God bless you for listening.